life goes on. And on and on and on and on and on. Making a flange here with playing cards and painter's tape. What I gotta do is make sure these cards are all stuck together and they're all lined up right. And have to make sure the tape holds them together. That way when I put the fiberglass up here against this, it won't move. There'll probably be tape on both sides. There are some spots where it's a little bit weak on one side, and I just put tape on the others. And it also ensures that there's no gaps at the bottom, especially around the nose. Cannot have any gaps when I'm doing this. So, eliminating gaps. Making sure the playing cards are all fit and set. Have to fill in a little bit of the bottom under here to make it flush across the bottom. And I was going to do a 3-part mold on this, but I figured it was too hard to decide how to do these at an angle, whether I go on the outside or the inside, and whether it would work for it'd just be better probably just to do a 2-part mold. So, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Move around here, move this around so I can get to it. Also gapping up these cards at the top, so it makes a seamless flange as well. So a little bit of bottom piece here to do. And then the one thing about this on the front here is I still have to go in here and put in a little bit more clay. So I'm going to take some of these cards off here, right here at the neck. Put those aside. Get in here and get some of my clay in here and just bulk this out flat. Because I can go back in and carve out the underjaw. So I'm making this flat so there's no hang-ups with undercuts. It's just where these jowls are, so the fiberglass will fall away easy from that molding. And nobody will actually see the inside of the mouth other than what I put in there with the teeth. So it's going to be alright. It will be okay. Everything will be fine. Take clay and just smooth this straight across here. I'll probably just clean this up afterwards. Well, this clay's so soggy and wet, it's like them mud. Which is what I want, but because the next step will be cutting fiberglass sheets, oiling this down with paste wax, and making up fiberglass sheets. And then making sure everything just kind of proportionally fits. See, in essence, it's like I'm putting the bottom jaw back in there a little bit. I was going to do a 3-piece mold, but like I said, it's a little bit difficult to determine the right proper 90-degree angles for this thing. So, couldn't quite make that happen. That was the thing that I've been sitting on all this. How are you going to make it work? So, you know, I can just carve out an excess underneath in the foam forms when they get made. So that's not a problem. Can have a slight curve, but not too much. Like I said, I cut that bottom jaw away, so there really isn't a bottom jaw on this, other than what I've sculpted in, put in here by way of clay. But I plan on using that bottom jaw as a separate piece, just to make sure that this gets done right. If I ever need to do open mouth. Now, I can take my clay, take these cards and put them back in here, and remix up flange. Because now the cards and the clay will go together. I had to clean my hands off because I got too much clay on them. much. I also have to make a flange down here at the bottom, which is going to be a little bit bigger. I probably need to have you guys sit over here, somewhere where you can see the whole thing better as I'm doing it. I did not put too much light in the room, I think. Let's pull this down here. That'll eliminate a lot of the light coming in. I'll take one of these hides and put them in there. And we're going to, there we go. Ingenuity here. Hopefully that'll work. Trying to dug it. Moose hide here. I'll just have that in there to block out the sun. God dog it. Hopefully they'll block out the sun. I can't get anything to work. Not supposed to. Now y'all can at least see what's going on. Okay. Filling this gap with a little bit of clay, because I did cut this with a Dremel saw, what do you want to call it? A skill saw, or buzz saw, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't take me long to do stuff when I actually get around to doing it. The thought and analysis process is probably the hardest part of things like this, because you have to figure out angles and stuff like that before you just jump in to do stuff. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do that than just a day or two. I mean, I have to like walk away from things and look at it and think about it, research it, and make sure I'm doing it right. So there's never ever, because like I said, on some of these things I do, it's a one-shot deal. If I mess it up, it's messed up and that's it. So, you know, there is no do-overs on some of these. So here we've got this thing flanged top to bottom. I've pretty much got it ready to go for fiberglass, so all I need to do right now is pre-cut some sheets and get this thing ready for resin. I will do this before I start that. I'm going to take some of this paste wax right here, Johnson paste wax, and I know I've got a little horseshoe clip thing I can get this open with. Let me see if I can find this thing. God, you bitch motherfucker. Okay. What you have to do is Johnson paste wax right here, right? Open this up. I stuck myself on this. Ugh. Bring y'all back over here. I'm going to see it from this side, this angle. This is paste wax. this thing open. I'm going to have to open that window back up when I start doing the fiberglassing on this tomorrow, because it's going to be a hellacious, noxious mess in here. I have a mask, and I will be wearing it, but take a bunch of paste wax here like this and just rub it in the areas that aren't part of the foam. Gotta rub that paste wax in there really good. I'll probably rub some up on the clay as well, because the clay will need to be... So I'll spray the clay down with sealant release, but I've got paste wax, so I might as well use that as well. Just rub this whole thing with paste wax, and it'll keep it moist overnight. Paste wax doesn't dry it out. Put that on the flange as well, but not too much. It won't seem to need it. Rub the whole thing down with paste wax. Make sure it's good. Good coating. Make sure to get that all covered up, both sides. Get this whole thing covered all the way around. Ooh, now it's slick and slippery. Kind of hard to hang on to now. I'm going to put some under the bottom to keep it stable. It doesn't fall over. There we go. got to pay special attention to this nose as well. I mean, I want all the forms and everything to come out, but I've already made a silicone impression of the modified nose that I made for this, so it's not a bear's nose. It was kind of modified into a half sculpting of a dog's nose, and I made a silicone mold of that, so all the details and the pores would show up. And I can resin mold that separately. Then when I go to put the fiberglass together, I just put that nose in there and lock it in where the nose would go. Pour the fiberglass in there, and it will mold itself in around that nose. So I'm not sure if the final form's going to be, I think the final form will be this big. What I'm going to have to do, though, is backing boards and all that stuff. I'm going to have to get those. But I'm going to make the fiberglass shell first. Once I got the fiberglass shell, then I can measure out the backing boards and do all that and put that together. First thing is just get this thing fiberglass molded. And like I said, that'll probably start tomorrow. Put that up a little bit so y'all can see it. Just running a little bit of this around there so it doesn't stick to the cards. And the tape. I'll gotta do the back. There was a spot missing on the back for this, but I'll get to that here in a second. To make this wax very smooth and everything on here, so it just smooths everything out and no contours or ripples or anything like that. The foam will catch all that detail, and if I have to go back in there and buff some of this down, so be it. If I don't, and it acts as accentuation to the form and the ripples in the dog's flesh, like wrinkles and stuff, so be it. That's what I'm pushing for, to try to get as much detail on here naturally as I can without having to worry about messing anything up. So, and to my understanding, to all my friends in the taxidermy world, nobody has ever created a dog form before like this. Oh yeah, they have Labrador forms, but they don't have St. Bernard forms. They don't have large canine forms with a big head and that type of thing. So, I am kind of making a little bit of history in the taxidermy world by making one of these. Yay me! Woohoo! I don't think Rick McKenzie or Rick Carter is going to pick this up and run with it insofar as ooh, we need that for our showroom. I don't think it's going to work quite like that. But this is just a personal project for me to do this and make a few of these, you know. There's no licensing or anything like that involved because it's just a dog form. Dogs don't have a license, so I don't have to worry about, you know, being sued by Castle Rock Entertainment, Stephen King, or any of that bullshit. Sorry about that. Any of that BS. I'm sure Stephen King, I hope Stephen King might see these when they get finished and probably want one. That's what I'd like to have happen. I'd like to do a good enough job on this to where Mr. Stephen King would go, oh wow, I would like one of those. Of course, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be a cheap project. This is going to be a $1,500 to $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 project. I mean, this is going to be expensive. So for those of you that do want them, I'm serious. Just start saving your pennies. Start saving your pennies. I've got ideas of sculpting life-size like this for variant things, not just Cujo. Other things as well. I've got the Predator that I've got a foam molding of the cardboard epoxy helmet that I did that was done a while back, and I gotta still work with that. So that's the next project coming up after this, where the Predator will be the next thing undertaking sculpting on a foam form, taken from cardboard and epoxy. So, well, this wax doesn't dry, so it'll stay overnight moist like this and be ready for the resin in the morning. I will have to pre-cut some sheets and start molding this thing. But gonna make sure that I have all this covered and done right before that happens. I have to make sure that this is all smooth as possible texture-wise. I'm barely wiping, lightly wiping this across because I want to smooth out those wax lines. So that's all I'm doing, is just very lightly wiping the wax lines away. Making sure that's smooth. It's not taking any of the wax off. Oh yeah, wax on, wax off. Notice I'm using the wax on, I'm using the left hand. I don't need to use my right hand because I'm not waxing off. Whoo, little Karate Kid joke there. Go around, lightly brush the wax off. Not the wax, but the clumps and the bumps and the lines and the wrinkles stuff. Very, very, very lightly bump them off and just brush them down so they're smooth. I'm barely touching the form, not even really raking it or anything, just very lightly touching it, smoothing it out. Very, very lightly. Slick as anything. This is like handling a snot-covered whatever. Kind of snot-covered. Because it's mucusy like boogers. It's very mucusy. That's what this paste wax is all about. Okay, we've got that sealed. So now all it takes is just getting this thing ready to fiberglass tomorrow, which will start happening probably sometime tomorrow morning, mid-afternoon. And I'll just leave that out there. I need this paste wax, but I'm not going to cover it. Good Lord. I have to start the process of cutting fiberglass sheets, and I'm not using the matted fiberglass. I'm using the thread woven fiberglass. And I'll show you guys that tomorrow, though. You guys will see all that as it gets done. Okay. So for right now, I need to go in and wash my hands and clean up real well. So once again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.